Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the heavy changes. Now, first one I'm talking about is, I think Natasha is an upgrade at the moment, because the main downside of Natasha, well, the main thing you'd use a Natasha for is just slowing everybody around. If you see a soldier just come around the corner, you can just pin him down and kill him, and there's not really much you can do to escape, so he's like forced to attack you. And that can be really good as a support weapon just on a pub or something, because if you've got your main like fighting force going forward, you can just be in the sidelines pinning them down so like your demo can kill them. And that could be an interesting thing to see in Highlander. But the main reason why we didn't see it in Highlander was because it did less damage. So it meant for the heavy v heavy fights, the Natasha heavy will most likely lose just because he's dealing out less damage. But now, the Natasha has a 20% damage resistance, along with its 20% less damage, which means the enemy heavy will be doing 20% less damage to you. So you're both doing the same damage to each other, which means you can still heavy v heavy. Like, I mean, unless that guy used Tomislav, but I'll go on to that in a second. So Natasha could potentially have a place in Highlander now. I mean, you still have the downside of like the lower spin up, and the less damage overall means you still do less damage to everybody else. But you can tank a bit more, and you have the utility of slowing people down, which can be pretty useful on certain maps. Maybe you could go Viaduct and you could like pin a lot of people down, or Asheville at the moment, and like slow a lot of people on the point so that your demo can just get more spam onto them. Because a lot of the time, unless you're the one in front and people decide to stick around and fight you, a lot of the time Heavy won't like get all the kills. He'll just be there to sort of like push people, like flush them out of an area or get like hold an area. Obviously Heavy still does get a lot of kills, but like it isn't just like an active thing like I'm gonna go into this area and kill 5 people. You're gonna go there, kill like one person, they're all gonna wise up and run, or they're gonna turn around and kill you. It's just sort of like you force a reaction kind of thing. So with Natasha you could like, okay, I'm not going to kill all 5 of these people, but this guy who's pretty important, who I probably wouldn't be able to kill because he's buffed, I can pin down and lock down, and then they have to make a different decision. So that could be interesting. Another thing is, now that they've buffed like demo knights in general, and like just changed it all so they can get more charges and they can have more mobility and all this kind of stuff, we might see people running demo knights in Highlander. So Natasha can pretty much just stop their charge straight away because of the slow, and just fuck them up in general because they need to get close to get kills, and you can slow them down and kill them before they even get there. That also, Natasha is going to be good on pubs because you're going to see a lot of demo knights just charging around getting free kills. So yeah. Another cool thing with Natasha is that because you tank 20% more damage, if you know you're in a situation where, okay, my med just died, I'm kind of cut off from my team and I'm gonna get spammed out, instead of just running and then like getting like killed because you're really slow, you could spin up and just like take more rockets. Because if you know you're gonna die in that situation, you might as well like take as much damage as possible. So if you've got like, for example, a soldier who would have killed you in like 2 rockets, maybe would have killed you in 3 rockets. So then you have to reload more rockets, and maybe your scout can swoop in and kill him, kind of thing. I don't know, if I know I'm going to die, I might as well like take a lot from them. So that could be kind of an interesting thing. And yeah, I'm going to go on to the Tomislav. So Tomislav, you have like still less damage. You spin up a little bit faster now, so maybe Tommy Groovich could come back. But you have like a tighter cone now. So this tighter cone could kind of go against the less damage, because if you've got a tight cone you've got more like bullets hitting constantly, so you could end up doing more damage. So maybe, I haven't run the numbers, but maybe it's still around the minigun damage. But the thing about the tighter cone is that when you have these heavy fights, they usually have to be quite mid to close range on people, just because the spread of the minigun, you want all your bullets to hit. Because you've got this like tighter spread, you can engage that heavy from further away and get more of your bullets land than he does. So instead of like on bad order first, where you want to like turn around that like cliff and in heavy v heavy fight and hope you don't get air blast off a cliff, you could, as defending heavy, go Tommy Slav and stand a bit further back, and then as he comes around the corner, you could be hitting him, and he can't hit most of his shots on you, so you're gonna have that advantage. I can imagine seeing Tommy Slav heavies on 5 CP points, like Process. They can just stay spun up on, computer, and just stay up there, and then when someone comes around the corner, they just mow down. So that could be an interesting strat, seeing a lot more sneaky heavies. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're going to be like super aggressive and like hiding around corners and stuff, but the silent spin up could be pretty beneficial, because if you're not really paying attention and then suddenly there's a heavy there and you didn't know he was spun up, he can get those valuable 2 or 3 seconds that it takes to kill you. So look out for that. Okay, so the eviction notice is quite fun now. So before it was generally less DPS because it like fired 50% faster but did 6% less damage. Now when you hit, it gives you like 3 seconds of movement speed. And what this means is if someone like a melee class or someone who's faster than you hits you and then runs away, you can hit them back and fucking chase them down and kill them. So like a spy is just nearby, put up the eviction notice and chase that bugger. You want to beat him to death. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I really like this weapon for pubs. I could probably say it in 6s, because you know when you have 6s heavy on last, he's going to be spun up a lot of the time. Maybe you'll see a Natasha, because it can tank more damage. But I imagine a lot of 6s players are going to ban that thing, if it isn't already banned. But when you are unspun, then you want to, like, I liked using normal eviction notice, because if I'm going to die, I might as well get as many hits as possible on someone like a scout who can dodge around. But maybe it means you could survive a little bit more on last point because you part the eviction notice and you just punch people and then juke around and dodge around the rockets. It'd be funny to see that. Okay, Warrior Spirit, 10 HP on hit. This doesn't feel like too much of a good change, just because you don't fire really fast. You're like hit, hit, hit. So you're not really getting that much HP back. It's still a HP, but in that exchange, unless you're like Buffalo Steak, sneak up behind someone and random crit them in the butt, you're going to end up losing more HP in that situation. It's still a good buff, but it's probably not as good as the other ones. I would probably recommend Buffalo Steak Eviction Notice, just because you can be super fast. Now onto the shotgun changes. The Family Business has a 15% firing speed. Before it had like an 8 clip, and now it's an 8 clip, and you can fire the faster. And so this is pretty fun because I like playing shotgun heavy. It helps me warm up my NG aim, and I can now kill people a lot faster. Before, the Family Business was actually weaker than the shotgun if you wanted to fight people, because that less damage that you got was quite crucial. Because the way it is with a lot of light classes is if you can meat shot someone twice with a shotgun, you can kill them. Meat shotting, by the way, is if you land the majority of your pellets close range, so you basically hit like for the most damage you can with a shotgun. But because that less damage that you did, you could only, they survived after the 2 shots of a little bit of health, so you had to like 3 shot them. So I didn't really use the Family Business too much when I was shotgun heavying, because it means I couldn't like quickly deal with scouts and NGs and stuff like that. But now with this 15% firing speed, it's significantly easier to fight these people. It still means I have to 3-shot them, but the 3-shotting is a bit easier, and it's also quite good for when I'm fighting like heavies and stuff who are spun up. I can kill them faster before they kill me. Along the same lines of Family Business, when they fixed the Ambassador and the revolver and all the revolvers reloading, they made it so it didn't smack yourself in the face, as Valve referred to it, which is a pretty good change, and a lot of people have suggested it. It's been really annoying for spies in general, because you want to turn off your view models on your primary, but you also want to be able to see if you have your dead ring up or not, and it was kind of annoying. But there are also like people contributing these animations. I can't remember if this animation they have is the one contributed. I remember seeing one where he reloads it like up to the side on his right. But the heavy shotgun reload animation also like covers your crosshair and is annoying. And I would have thought they would have fixed that as well, considering it's a stealth weapon. I mean, you don't really see shotgun heavy as much as like an ambi spy, obviously, but especially since they buff the family business, they still acknowledge that people use their shotguns on heavy. So I was wondering if there was more work to that. Maybe it was because they did use an animation that community contributed, and maybe no one contributed a shotgun heavy reload. So it would have taken more work for them to do it. But it would be nice if they did want to fix that, because it can be a little bit annoying. Okay, last bit. There is the Dolicho's bar buff. So instead of you eating it and it giving you 50 HP, giving you 350 HP, it now gives you 400 HP. And this is great, because I actually use Dolicho's bar, well, I use my fish cake in 6s when I'm playing heavy, along with my other silly weapons like Eviction and this. Because if you're playing like Badlands Last, for example, you're sitting on the last point, you've got basically all this cap time, so you want to sit on it so they don't just walk on and immediately win. And you're slightly out of range to be buffed. You want to like have that 50 extra HP, because sure, if a sniper charges up his shots and shoots you, you're dead. But quickscopes do like 150 damage. So if you have that extra 50 HP, you can get hit one in the head once and be like, oh fuck, and then run off the point, and then there's that window for you to be shot in the head again, in which you'll survive, because you've got that 50 HP. But it's still kind of a niche circumstance. But this 400 HP is better, because more health, you can tank potentially more. There's probably more situations when you do this. Maybe you can tank like 8 rockets or something like that, I don't know. But making heavy tankier without the need of a medic is pretty nice, and I'm probably going to be using this in pubs. It also makes a small health kit on drop, which is nice. Really nice. But the only problem I see from this is, see with Sandwich, you can pick up like a small health kit and upcycle it into a medium health kit, and then, which is your Sandwich, and then throw it at a medic. Or you can just like have it for teammates, like, oh, I'm full health, this teammate is low and we've only got a small health kit. I'll throw a sandwich to you, then pick up the small health kit, get another sandwich, and then throw it to you again, and you're almost full health probably. But now you only get like a small health kit if it's Dolicho's bar. So what I feel like is some people unintentionally, or like they just don't know how it works, will pick up like medium health kits or full health kits and just like throw it at people into a Dolicho's bar drop, and it'll be like you've downcycled it. So that might be a thing like now, that you downcycle health kits by accident. So that could be a funny incident. And generally they've upgraded the descriptions to help new players, so if you look at the sandwich it says that you can throw it on the floor, which is a really nice touch, because you get a lot of people who start playing the game and start playing heavy, because heavy is a pretty simple class in pubs, and they need a medic to often survive a lot of encounters. So when you have your medic who's healing you, who's on low health or on fire, the new player can be like, oh, what can I do to help? Looks at inventory, you can throw this sandwich on the floor for your medic. Ooh. And that's just a nice thing, because if you haven't played TF2, a lot of the game mechanics are really weird, like rocket jumping, the fact that you have a sandwich that heals, this kinds of thing, and the whole thing where you can stab someone in the face if you run around them a certain amount, that kind of thing. Basically, all these changes for Heavy are really good, and it's probably going to give Heavy some more diversity in Highlander. Probably not. People are probably going to stay with the same 4 weapons, but it could be a good, interesting thing to try out if you're not in one of those teams that shouts at Heavies for trying to innovate. But generally, these changes look kind of nice, and I hope that it isn't the last Heavy changes we're going to have. But yeah, okay, bye.